already started typing in chat. All right. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. I'm Izzy. I race with Rhino. So tonight's session is a Zone 2 recovery ride, and we actually have Coach Frank with us tonight. So join us on Discord if you're watching on the stream. We do have some questions, but first, some housekeeping items. If you want to join us, the link is actually in the event, or you can watch the stream. The sound is going to be there, and it's going to be shared on both channels. Josh, if you wouldn't mind sharing the link in chat. I don't think they can do that though.
I will get it here as well.
Yeah, and feel free to drop questions directly in Zwift as well, and then I'll try to monitor as much as I can. And if we don't get everything tonight, I'll try to add it to the next session. So I'm gonna pass it over to. Oh, maybe I can do a bit of intro by myself. I've been training with FasCat coaching since January 2025, but the AI portion, and I enjoyed it. It's been very helpful. I was winning the tour in January, which is the women's tour, and I was category up. Not sponsored, but really truly enjoy the AI portion, the interaction, and it makes a difference just to get the thinking, planning out of the way too. So this is one of the reasons why I want to share the training for Zwift. And on that note, I'll pass it over to our captain, Gordon, who's leading the Rhino Club, to introduce the club, Zwift Racing, and then we're going to jump off to questions with Coach Frank.
Yeah, hello. Rhino Racing, I guess we've been going about 5 years, just over 5 years now, which we started off with just a handful of people, a dozen people doing TTT, and gradually expanded. So we're now a sort of global team, really. I guess our majority, a lot in UK, Europe, and North America. It's probably the main bulk of where people are, but we've got people from all sorts. And as the name suggests, Rhino Racing, the focus is racing, but obviously you can't race every day. So we do other stuff, social stuff, training rides, things like that, a whole sort of mixture. We do various events, whether that's your usual ZRL, ladder races, basically anything that looks fun and interesting on Zwift. That's about it, really. We're always open to new members, people who want to come along. Just come and ask questions and see what's going on. And we've got lots of good people here that will help you, whether that's for racing, training, or anything else bike related, really. But yeah, happy to hand over to Frank and we can get on with the training chat.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for having me. My name's Coach Frank. Some call me the Big Cat. I've been a coach for, over 20 years. Long time ago, when I was a younger, I wanted to become a professional mountain biker. And I was working in biotech. We were working on developing medicines that could help cancer patients. And biotech is really volatile. So one day, our FDA trials didn't work out and they laid off like a third of the company. And that was me. And I was like, this is awesome. I could train full time. So I tried to do that, but I was poor and pro bike racing wasn't paying off. So I was like, if I can coach 10 athletes at $100 a month, I can keep surfing this couch in this house with my roommates and keep living the dream. So I tried to start coaching, and back then, this is like 2003, by the way. There wasn't really any such thing as a one-on-one coaching back then. And to get my name out there, I wrote training tips and I put them on cycling media websites, and people would find me, read about it, and hire me. And that's how I got started. Nowadays, I have a YouTube channel. We have a podcast. Go check it out. It's all FasCat Coaching, FasCatCoaching.com. And one of the things that happened over the years is we realized personal coaching is expensive and not everyone can afford it. And that's one of the problems. The other problem is that, when you hire a coach, it kind of sometimes for some users, athletes, it sucks the fun out of training because you got to do what they say. And sometimes you may miss your group ride, or you may want to do one thing and the training plan says another thing, but you're paying the coach. So you got to do it. And you do that for like a year or two and you get faster, but then you realize, hey, I'm not having as much fun as I used to. So what we created during COVID, we decided to release our own coaching app. We were not happy with the software out there in the market, like Trainer and Peaks. We were like, yeah, we can do a better job. And along the way, GPT came out and we developed an AI coach, and I trained it, to basically coach like me. And the thing is, it costs like a fraction of what it costs to hire me, and you get your answers instantly, and it can still do a lot of the things that I do better. And so Nellie, Izzy, what do you go by? You go by Nellie?
Izzy works.
Izzy, okay. So she sent me the questions, and they're all good. We'll get to those in a second. One thing to know, I plugged them all into the CoachCat AI chat, and the answers you get back are better than what I'm going to be able to tell you because I'm just not as smart. I mean, I'll be honest, I train the AI, but the answers it gives is kind of smarter and more in depth than me because I forget to think of some things. Although in some instances, I'm smarter because I have context, depth of experience, and it's always better to hear it from a coach that's got experience than maybe trust in AI. But the point is, the AI coach is really good. We have a free 30-day trial if you want to try it out. If you like any of the coaching responses, you can get, anything under the sun. You can get a custom training plan. We have Zwift racing plans. We have training to help you for your goals coming up this summer. And the way that I designed it was basically, I wanted to take everything that I do that takes time and cost is expensive and put that into an AI coach that can do that for you within a training plan and manage your training plan and analyze your data. So yeah, check it out. And I think that would be a good segue to lead into some of the questions.
Right, after I've been trying to close a 20-second gap. Not zone 2. Do not just do what I just did. So first question for you came in a few weeks ago. Every Zwift race I do starts at 150%. For me, it's about 300%, but that's just me for the first 2 minutes. I usually survive. I'm sorry, give me a second. But feel cooked halfway through. Should I train differently for the brutal part, or is it just about getting stronger overall?
Yeah, so great question. You're absolutely right. Zwift races start off really hard. Do we have any athletes that race cyclocross in the group tonight? Raise your hand or sound out. Well, that's it.
Not that I know of, but yeah, I can guess where you're going here.
So, as it stands, the way a cyclocross goes down, the sprint is at the beginning, and everyone goes crazy hard, just like they do in Zwift. And so, the way you train for that is Well, number one, when you're doing a Zwift race, you want to warm up. You want to do a real, legitimate 30-minute warm up. You want to get into the starting pin early. And one thing that I do about 5 seconds before the timer goes to zero, I increase my power to like 150%. So I blast off the front, and then you can settle in, and you're not like closing gaps or trying to catch up. So workouts that we have to mimic that literally have you doing zone 5 for 5 minutes, then you settle into threshold for 10 minutes, and then you settle into like a sweet spot pace for 20 or 30 minutes. And that's kind of how a lot of these Zwift races go down. And there's workouts you can do on erg mode or even outdoors to kind of mimic that. And heart rate zones that correlate with those power zones is like definitely over threshold for that 5 minute effort, and then threshold, for the rest of the time, just about threshold heart rate. So zone 5 heart rates, 105%, and then threshold heart rate's about 100% of your threshold heart rate.
Sorry, coach, I missed the first part. What was the suggested workout? Zone 5 for 5 minutes?
Yeah, we have some workouts in our workout library. They're called gravel power workouts. A lot of the gravel races start off this way too. So if you go into the workout library and search on gravel, you'll find them. They last anywhere from 1 hour to a few hours, but they all have that 5 minute hard start, 10-minute threshold. Our cyclocross workouts begin with a sprint, a true 10-second sprint, a 1 minute anaerobic effort, 120% of your FTP, followed by the 5 minutes of zone 5, followed by the 10 minutes of threshold. It's really hard, but you can train that way in your training to get accustomed to that in your Zwift racing.
Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to type, but I missed the first part there. We have a question in chat, so let's go to that. What makes FasCat AI? Oh, sorry, I can. Go ahead.
That's a really good question. We get this from time to time. So for everyone in the Discord that didn't see it, what makes FasCat AI different than GPT or Claude? Well, the first thing is that GPT and Claude don't have access to your training plan. They don't have access to your wearable data, your recovery data, or your power data, heart rate data, rod data, like Coach Cat does. And then the second thing, GPT and Claude are not trained by me, by moi. We have a really extensive prompt that I've developed over the past year and a half. It's really long. It's 12,000 tokens. And basically, I put everything I've learned over the past 20 years into that prompt, like what to do and when, and based on certain situations and data. And so Claude and GPT are very generic. And then Claude and GPT can't change your training plan. It can't make your workout longer or shorter, harder or easier. It can't revise your training plan when you get sick or help you build a training plan that it actually goes on your calendar that you can do on Zwift or send to your bike computer. Those are the big differences. The Coach Cat AI is basically an extension of myself. I put all my knowledge into it, which GPT and Claude are still very general.
There's an extensive prompt. That's pages. That's awesome.
Yeah, pages, 12,000 tokens. It is. I work on it every day. It's not like we're like, hey, we need a prompt. This is like what we've been teaching it for the past. We've had Coach Cat out in the wild for 2 years now. We released it March of 2024, and yeah, so it's been a labor of love in a really cool and fun way. Someone is asking in the chat, how can you look at the FasCat AI? Start a free 30-day trial. Go to fastcatcoaching.com. Start a trial. Sync your data. You can sync your Zwift account. It'll analyze your Zwift ride that we're doing right now. If you can do it in time while we're riding, it'll tell you the thing that also makes personal coaching expensive. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to analyze a power file. And, because this is what I do for a living, that kind of works out to me charging $500 to $600 a month for someone, because I analyze their file, every single file. But Coach Cat does it instantly and, at a much more economical price. And it's going to be able to do it better than me, probably. I mean, there's some things it can already do better, like look at multiple files at once, but we're giving it the ability to analyze individual intervals or like data sets, not just one file. So it's going to exceed what we can do within this coming 9 months.
Thanks. I just wanted to mention on the stream, I know that there's not a lot of ladies watching or online right now, but I was actually working with Coach Cat to save into my memory the memory of my monthly cycles too. Sorry, boys, probably not your favorite topic, but it actually adjusts the calendar just to point out what Coach Ryan was referring to is adjusting to your recovery and the monthly cycle, and they actually make suggestions as to what the workout should be too. So really awesome. I don't know if you planned it that way, Coach, but it actually worked out really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you can tell it anything, and the memory will preserve that. You can say, "Hey, I'm having my monthly cycle now. Remember this."
Yep.
You can tell it how much you weigh. You can tell it your goals, like, I have a weight loss goal of 8 pounds by this May. Please help me do that. It'll give you recipes and meals, and also give you advice about, what to eat. Like say you're doing a 4-hour ride this Saturday. It'll tell you how much to eat so that you're fueled for that ride. It'll also help you with your macros if you want to log your food. One of the things we're going to do is there's technology out there where you can take a picture of what you eat, and the AI will just calculate your macros and log it for you. That's one of the features we're going to roll out. If for like your nutrition.
Wow. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize you can do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, right now you just have to, type in, but with a camera, the AI will be able to say, "Oh yeah, that's this," and also you can scan barcodes too. You can take a picture of the barcode, and it'll know. Because for the longest time, with apps like MyFitnessPal, you had to, enter everything, and it was really reliant on how accurate your reporting is. And a camera connected to AI will really help.
That's going to be a huge improvement to use camera.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're ready for the next question. Unless you have something else to add. Maybe I should take a pause. Anyone in chat have a question in Discord? All right.
I sent mine to you, so hopefully you'll get to it, but that's okay. Everyone is important.
Sorry, where did you send it? In chat?
Discord message.
Oh, go ahead. Ask your question.
Oh, okay. I am 45 years old, and I just got back into cycling after being away for like 8 years. I got incredibly excited when I found Zwift and overdid it. I had knee injuries, went through rehab. It was a rough entry back into cycling. So I'm on the backside. Things are healed up, and I'm wondering what do I have to do as I ramp up my time in the saddle to stay healthy over these next 5, 10 years, and I make cycling a part of my lifestyle. So thinking about like weightlifting and I'd rather spend time on the bike, not in the gym.
Yeah.
So what kind of weightlifting do I have to do to keep healthy moving
Yeah.
forward?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So before we get into weightlifting and riding, one of the probably the most beneficial things, you said you got knee problems when you came back, is that right?
Major overuse injuries. I went straight in at like 9, 10 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing I would have you do is get a professional bike fit if you haven't already. Um,
Yep.
Make sure your bike's fit so it sets you up for success. I see a lot of times, people can have their saddle too low or their fore aft position. Um, you don't like really notice it until you start riding a lot. And that's what we call overuse injuries. And a good bike fit will rule out that. So,
Yeah.
hit up your friendly bike fitter, um, and get put in an optimal position. And it could, shoes are really important, cleat position, insoles, getting all that dialed in. And then you can ramp up your volume and, do it in a periodized way. Don't you already went through this, but you
Yeah.
periodize your training. One of the biggest mistakes I see athletes over 40 make is not taking regular rest weeks. The general rule of thumb is take a rest week every fourth week. They call it 3 weeks on, 1 week off. It's not like you don't ride that week. You just do reduced training volume and you let your body, catch up to the training. That eliminates tons of problems taking regular rest weeks.
Nice.
To get
The
to your
schedule is ramping up during the month, and the last week of the month is always like 70% of whatever you were doing before.
Yeah, totally. The other thing when you talk about weightlifting, um, there's a couple of ways to weightlift. Um, we do recommend like a dedicated traditional 10-week weightlifting phase in the winter, usually between October and January, February. And that's when you're doing like squats and leg presses and leg curls, and it's balanced to your bike riding. And then you come out of that weightlifting phase and then you start building your base. And that's when you're riding a lot. For strength and maintenance that you do year round, we recommend that you do one session per week, usually on a Sunday or a Thursday before your off day. And you do it, all you need to do is a squat, 3 reps, 70% of your 1 RM, and no more. That's how you balance your strength training with your bike riding, and no problems will happen. But if you start trying to lift heavy and ride a lot, your body's gonna say no mas, and something's gonna give, and it's usually your power output or your performance.
So you're not worried about doing other activities like for rehab. I was working a lot on my glutes with clamshells and abductors, adductors, and you're not worried about those more particular exercises then.
Those should be integrated into your training plan. They're all well accepted. They're not gonna take away from your power output on your bike. But when you're lifting like heavy, like squats, leg press, you're gonna be too tired, from that to pedal. But doing your rehab exercises generally doesn't introduce too much stress. I mean, you have to feel it out, and kind of manage it yourself. Like, how am I feeling on the bike and all that. So, I mean, you
Cool. Sounds like it's more about managing the volume than it is working particular muscle groups and trying to get them to keep up then. That's great news. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the AI will put those workouts on your training calendar and balance them for you with your bike workouts too.
Right on. Next up, Biddy. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
That was a great question. And I'm done chasing. I'm not going to be doing zone 2 recovery right if I continue chasing. All right. Next question. How differently should I be training if I'm mainly focused on Zwift racing versus outdoor road racing? Are there specific energy systems that matter more indoors? So maybe, Coach Frank, let's talk about how different Zwift racing is to begin with, and whether or not we need to train differently or use Zwift as a tool to for outdoor racing.
Yeah. So the first thing to tackle is the timing. And when I hear Zwift racing, I'm mostly assuming you're racing November, December, February, March, and then you might be doing outdoor racing in the warmer months. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's the case for most people, but I guess depending on which part of the world that you live in, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you might be doing most of your Zwift racing in our northern hemisphere summer. So the timing of everything should be taken into consideration because there's a time and a place for everything. You do not want to race year round, especially as a masters athlete. I mean, you could probably do that when you were in your 20s and 30s, but if you're racing once, twice a week, year round, you're really kind of burning the candle at both ends, and so something's going to give, and it's going to be your recovery, and then your performance will decline. So, for the athlete that asked the question, now we do see athletes that Zwift is their primary season, number one goal, and that's cool. So you just want to define when that is to set up your annual training plan, your periodization. And if you are racing like November through February, what you want to think about when you hit the warmer months is you're riding outside for fun, you're doing base miles, and it's great. And then as you get into like July and August, you want to start setting up your training working backwards from when your Zwift season begins. And you want to do a weight program like I was mentioning to the other question just a minute ago. And you want to build your base. One way to do it is do a weight program in the spring, build your base all summer and fall, and then you come into the wintertime racing series like in really good shape. And then you're racing, and you got to recover with the Zwift racing, even though it's usually an hour or less. It's really hard, really intense, and so a lot of the other days should be rest or easy rides. You don't want to try to cram a bunch of interval training into also your Zwift racing. We have some Zwift racing phases where it's just really based on like a ZRL, a Tuesday night race, and it has you do openers on Monday, rest on Sunday, easy long endurance maybe on Saturday, and a few key workouts maybe Thursday and Friday. So yeah, the biggest thing not to do is just like race year round. You don't want to, that you'll get too stale. You gotta build your base, allow time for weightlifting, and yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Thanks. And I was just sharing in the game chat that it could just be me. I would apply the plan and then just apply the races that I want and ask Coach Cat to adjust the workouts around it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like your race maybe on a Thursday or Saturday, and you asked Coach Cat to adjust your training, accordingly.
Yeah. All right. Anyone on Discord have any question?
I got a question on the Zwift topic, I guess, of training. I'm not sure how much you ride Zwift, Frank, but are there Zwift? I don't really like a lot of the workouts on here, and I'm sure you customize them and everything, but I didn't know if you had any. I don't like the way they're organized. I don't like the way most of them are just random intervals, all the stuff that you probably bothers you too. But is there any workouts or groups of workouts that you like on Zwift?
Yeah. Well, so, I ride Zwift a lot. I live in New England a lot in the winter, and we can't really ride outside. It's snowy, it's below 35 degrees. So I'm doing 8-10 hours a week exclusively on Zwift. I've been doing that since November. And I use the training plans and the workouts from the Coach Cat app to do on Zwift. I do like the PacerBot group rides. I can select various watts per kilogram PacerBot to meet the intensity at which I want to ride at for the day. Like, if I want to ride zone 2, I'll select a watt per kilogram PacerBot. I ride zone 2. If I want to get a big day and do sweet spot, I'll select that PacerBot. But honestly, I cannot stand the workouts in Zwift. They don't make sense to me. They're too short. They're too hard. And so I don't do them. What I recommend is you have a goal for your workout each day. Your training plan will provide that. But a lot of times, like if you're in a base phase, we're going to have you do sweet spot and tempo in zone 2. You're not going to be doing any zone 4, 5, and 6 intensity. And that's all I really see in Zwift. A lot of the way you build base is just by riding a lot. You can do sweet spot to achieve more physiological adaptations than you can by riding in zone 2. But you don't tell an athlete during their base phase to do hard intervals. You save that for the race season. So that's a primary mistake I see just about with all the virtual indoor riding platforms. They lack the forethought of their intervals. And so you got to be careful. Make sure you're training with purpose and your workout for the day fits your plan and your training goal and where you're at personally.
So
the things that I do on Zwift, I do my workouts. I do the pacer bots every Saturday. We do an endurance ride. It's 2 to 5 hours. We're going to do the Uber Pretzel February 28th. As a community, you're welcome to join the FasCat Club. We've done it for the past 2 years in a row. It's just we get on the Discord. It's a great way to get in some miles and not be by yourself, because that's the worst part about Zwift is being by yourself. So when you can do it with others, it makes the training more fun and enjoyable. But I never do the workouts in Zwift. I'm all about the group rides and the pacer bots. Once in a while, I'll do a course. But like I did my field test up the Zwift. That was pretty fun. But yeah, that's kind of how I use Zwift.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, I agreed on everything you said, and just the long zone too on EGR mode or ERG mode is kind of miserable. So I'll try the pacer bots out. Yeah, but yeah, that's why part of the reason I'm here on this right now is just so I don't have to do long zone 2 by myself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once in a while, I'll put it in the erg mode and just park it in zone 2 and watch YouTube or Netflix, but not often.
Thank you. So if I was gonna ask, if you're gonna pick one workout though on Zwift, Coach Frank, would you pick one?
Yeah, could you repeat the question again? One workout on Zwift?
Yeah, so I know we all agree that it is a very weird workout and not well thought out. But if I were to ask you to pick one workout from Zwift to do, is there one that you would select?
I don't, to be honest, no. I would look
Okay.
for something that's sweet spot. Every single workout that I prescribe, whether it's VO2 max, anaerobic, sweet spot threshold, it's completely different than the way Zwift does it. And I just won't do that. So,
Okay.
I mean, like for instance, I'll give you an example. The way we prescribe sweet spot is in durations and repetitions between 8 minutes and 30 minutes. And you can't, that's the way you prescribe sweet spot. And you cannot find that in the Zwift sweet spot library. They mess it up by making it too short. And yeah, it just winds up not being a sweet spot interval, for example.
Right. Fair. All right, I'll let you go on that one. All right, next question. I can hold steady power outdoors, but in Zwift races, it's a constant surge. What is the best way to train repeatability, the ability to hit hard efforts over and over again?
Yeah, we get this a lot. There's no rolling inertia indoors like there is outdoors. Like when you're outdoors, you get the wind in your face, the physics, you're doing 20, 25 miles an hour. Some of the newer trainers do a pretty good job of it. They got that flywheel that's pretty heavy and it does an okay job at rolling inertia. But we all know that feeling when you lose your cadence and it's like pedaling in sand. It's really difficult. And the thing about Zwift racing that's so different than outdoors is even when you're going hard in a Peloton, you get these little micro breaks where you're coasting and the draft feels so real outside and indoors. I mean, I've got dropped going downhill, on Zwift. It's super frustrating. I'm like going as hard as I can, 35 miles an hour, and I can't close the gap. It's really unrealistic. And so the best way to honestly train for that is just to race more on Zwift. That's the most specific use case to prepare for that constant pedaling. 60 minutes, you don't stop pedaling once. And that's my recommendation. You get used to pedaling at lower cadences indoors than you do outdoors. You get better at drafting, and like I think someone's on the chat talking about using your pedal ups and your feathers and all that sort of thing. So that's probably, I mean, you can do your intervals on Zwift too, on your smart trainer. Every year when I get on Zwift in the winter, I feel like I kind of suck. And then over 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it seems like I find my legs on Zwift. And what you're really doing is just getting used to that constant torque and pressure of indoor cycling.
I was sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. I said 6 to 8 weeks. That's quite a, and I was getting annoyed with 2 weeks. Oh my,
Yeah, I
6 weeks.
yeah. I mean, day by day, week by week, but it took me a while this winter because I like usually from April through October we have good weather and I can ride outside exclusively. I don't have to do indoors anymore.
Yeah, I still use indoors for training sessions in the summer just because I can avoid traffic.
Yeah, there's that too. That's why Zwift is such a good tool.
Yeah, I leave outdoor to just exploring in the long rides. All right. Any questions on Discord?
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
how much does dieting play a piece in your training plans?
Yeah, huge. You mean, so we have meal plans that are, yeah, so we have real meal plans, nutrition designed by a registered dietitian, tells you exactly what to eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They're geared towards your gender, your activity level, and your current body weight. Um, the recipes are formulated for your gender, your activity level, and your body weight formulaically, so the caloric amounts will help you lose weight if that's your goal. Because we have a weight loss one, and we have like an introductory meal plan that really teaches you what we have. We have these winning in the kitchen concepts, and if you look up, if you Google winning in the kitchen or you go to our YouTube channel, you'll find several videos on winning in the kitchen, and that's 80% of performance nutrition and weight loss happens in the kitchen and 20% on the bike. But yeah, we'll give you a grocery list. We'll give you meal prep instructions. We'll tell you how to cook the food, all the recipes, what to eat and when. It's pretty sweet. It's not trivial. It requires a commitment. But it's the way I've been eating for the past 10 years. It's basically no alcohol, no added sugar, nothing really out of a box or a bag, high quality lean, cuts of protein, primarily fish and chicken, no saturated fat found in bacon, beef, or pork, a lot of vegetables, a serving of vegetables and greens every meal, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, kale, arugula, spinach, healthy fats, avocados, almonds, olive oil, so forth. And yeah, that's what most of the recipes derive from. And we have things like salmon watts and chipotle chicken burrito bowl and rocket wrap. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, try it out. It's not for everyone, but it's
Yeah, I think you're saying I'm going to have to change my PB&J diet.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with PB&J. That falls within it. I would want you to get some more protein in there. It's not that high on breads, but it's big time on low gluten carbohydrate like rice, sweet potatoes. But nothing wrong with a PB&J once in a while, especially like right after a Zwift ride or a training race.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There's a follow-up question on Zwift, Coach. Says, I work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., 12-hour shift that repeats every other week. Will the app adjust to a schedule like that?
Wait, so say the question again. You work at night?
So yeah, he works from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., 12-hour shift, and it alternates every other week. Will the app adjust to a schedule like that? I don't think there's a timing in the app. You can do the session when you want, right?
Yeah. Basically, you're going to have to adapt to the training. I mean, you're going to ride 5 days a week. You can pick your long ride day. You can pick your key ride day. We're going to assume you have Monday, Fridays off. But I mean, if you're working at night, do your workout during the day. If you're working during the day, do your workout before or after work. If you, I'm making the assumption it's like a 12 to 8 hour shift. So there's that. There
it's a
are
12-hour.
12 hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm the one to ask the question. It's like a nurse's schedule or like law enforcement. We do like 2 days on, 2 days off, where 2 days I'll have all the time in the world, and the next 2 days I only have like an hour and a half window.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, this is really common with, professionals in your line of work. And so you can move workouts because obviously you want to move your long rod days on days when you got that 2 day off block. And then you want to move your rest days when you got that, hardcore, I can only ride an hour and a half. You might as well take those days off. So you can move things around in the calendar. And then, but you still want to strive for 4 to 5 workouts per week. You do want to pay attention to your sleep, whether you're, that's like probably one of the biggest challenges of shift work is, being just able to sleep during the day. So there's that. You can connect your wearable device to the app. It'll help you monitor your sleep. It'll give you a recovery analysis based on your sleep and your HRV recommendations for your workout for the day based on how recovered you are or not. That's how I would go about it. And just be flexible with yourself. Definitely move your long ride days to those days when you're completely off.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No problem. Good question, because not everybody do work during the days, right?
No. Good thing is I can work out as soon as I wake up, because I wake up at 2 in the afternoon. So.
Yeah. So just so you know, Rick, you can actually tell it what days you want to do the hard session and what days you want to recover. And I don't know about alternating every other week, but what I have done is actually just replicate it every week. So it'll be a good test. You can report back and let Coach know and myself if it actually works. Who knows? Maybe it does work.
Yeah.
I actually love to experiment with Coach Cat, just out of just to see if it does something or not. So
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to like engage with the AI and tell it. So for the gentleman who's the nurse, I would say what you would tell it is, here's an example. Hello, I'm a nurse. I have shift work this week. I'm working these hours, and can you give me some advice as it pertains to following my training plan this week and help me move? And you can even say I'm off on Wednesday and Thursday, so move my long ride workouts to that day, and it will, and it's pretty sweet. So, and when I say we design the AI to do things like I do, like that's what I've been doing for the past 20 years. But people have to text me and call and email me, and then I have to revise their plan. And now we have the AI that can just do it instantly without you get it done instantly, and you don't have to pay the high price of coaching.
and I think I also like the suggested prompts that you have in the chat group on some of the things that you can ask, as if you have a prompt library to start and give you ideas on what you can do.
Yeah, super important.
All right, I think we have time for one more question, so let's do that. If I'm racing Zwift twice a week on Zwift, say ZRL and a weekend race, should those count as my intensity for the week, or do I need a structured interval?
Yeah, Zwift racing and your intensity days are one and the same. So generally, if you're racing twice a week, that's 2 off days per week. So now that's 4 days per week spoken for. That leaves 3 days left. Probably one or two of those days are going to be easy rods, short rods, and maybe one might be what I call a key workout, but it might be like just a base building workout to keep you sharp. I wouldn't do any like full gas zone 4, 5, and 6 work when you're racing that much. Let the racing be the training. And when you rest from it and you go, go hard in your racing, be competitive, push yourself. And what you'll see if you've taken your rest, you can improve a little bit week over week because the racing is the training and you'll get better from it week over week.
No, that actually makes sense. That's what I actually do. I do the Zwift ZRL series on Tuesday in place of a hard interval, and it's not structured, but it does definitely has the intensity. So even more because you go harder in races.
Yeah, I call it organic intensity, and you're right. You're more likely to push yourself harder in a race than you would at an interval. That's what makes it such good training.
So maybe a follow-up question then is it better to do a Zwift race or an VO2 session?
It kind of depends. They both can be more beneficial than the other depending on the circumstance or situation or training goal. If you haven't done any VO2 max intervals in a while, doing VO2 max intervals are going to be better than a Zwift race. If you haven't done Zwift racing for a while and you're getting ready to, it's a good idea to do some. We kind of like sprinkle in both, so that you get the benefits of both over in the training plan.
So then let me ask the next question. Zwift race or threshold session?
I would say depends on what the athlete's goal is. Yeah. Now we're getting kind of, the more specific the question, the more you need to understand what the overall goal is. Is this athlete, is their goal to do well in the Zwift race? Or are they using Zwift racing for another goal, like a outdoor race goal or something? And threshold intervals are good training for Zwift racing. They're good training for races that have climbing. So it depends. Do you have a particular use case for example?
No, that was just me asking. At what point do you pick a structured workout over a Zwift race?
Yeah. I mean, like, the way I would recommend is do one Zwift race per week, do one hard structured interval workout per week. Then you're getting the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
And then you're covering all your bases physiologically. But we do see athletes that, they race all the time and they don't do any intervals, and they're leaving those benefits on the table. So it's important not to race all the time and also not to do intervals all the time. It's a balance.
No, and I think that works. So would you actually recommend, and I already know the answer to the question, but just for the stream and everything else, would you do a Zwift race and then a tempo or a sweet spot for your second structure for the structured workout that week?
Yeah. Generally, if it's a hard Zwift race, we'll do sweet spot the next day, tempo the next. If the athlete is feeling really tired from that Zwift race, they could switch and do tempo.
Okay.
And so it kind of depends on the recovery status.
That makes sense. All right. I think, sorry, I'm just laughing because I typed one wife race and one structured race instead of one Zwift race. So I do have questions, but we are coming to an end, and I want to thank everyone. I still have three left questions, but that's good. We will we'll wait for the next one. So thank you very much for coming tonight and answering questions as usual. Do you have anything that you'd like to add, Coach Frank?
Thank you very much for having me. I love talking training, and thank you for all your questions and everything. Two things I would add: join the FasCat Coaching Club. We're riding this Saturday, sweet spot style, 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain. And if you want to give Coach Cat a try, you can build a custom training plan for free for 30 days, no credit card required. And if you have questions during that trial, don't hesitate to reach out to us. There's a chat box in the upper right of the app, and myself and our team of coaches is on the other side to help answer your question. But I would just put Coach Cat through the paces, ask all the questions in the world. That's what it's really good at. But yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you. And can I put you on the spot and commit for March?
Yeah. You want same time,
Yeah.
same back channel next March?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it'll be 4 weeks because I'm doing 3 weeks on and 1 week off.
Perfect.
We can finalize the details later. I'll give you specific dates. Gordon, are you still awake? Or have you?
Yeah, just about. Still about, but yeah, I'll be going to bed after this.
All right. Wanna say the last words?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just thank Frank again for the great insight and the coaching. I probably should check it out myself because I don't do much training, so it's probably a good introduction to give it a go. So yeah, thank you again, and yourself, Izzy, for leading it and all the questions, and everyone for joining. That's good.
Yeah, figure out how to do this better for the people in game who are not on Discord. I just couldn't figure out how to get that connected. So Frank, just so you know, once Josh finished the stream, he's gonna send you an invite. You'll have to accept so that it can be a collab between Josh's page and yours, and this stream can go up on your page too if you want.
Yeah, totally. We'll do the collab thing. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Josh is finally coming down because he was about 225 zone 2. He's at about 130 zone 1. Still a bit jealous about those watts. Thanks again. That was awesome. Hey Frank, if there's anything that you want to change next time, let me know. Or if there's a specific route that you want to pick on, I usually pick a flat route for the recovery rides.
Yeah, totally. I'll give it some thought. I thought everything was great tonight. Thank you very much for hosting.
No problem. And if you have a theme that you want to focus on next time, let me know too. I think we have a bit of a different set of questions. They're still good. So thanks again. I think that was good. Oh, I think we're 34 people tonight.